Hey guys, it is Bianca here today, and I'm going to tell you about my bad riding experience and how to regain confidence. So I have been riding horses for 7.5 years, and that is currently stuck at that time because my riding place never contacted me back to start, some things. And some things have been going on with them, and it's not really good information that I recently learned. But anyways, so I rode for 7.5 years. So during my last time I rode, which was the half year, between 2013, in December and January of 2014 that's when I fell off, for basically my first time. I want to say my first time. It might have been in the beginning of 2014 too, because I had different instructors. So the first time I actually fell off, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt me really, and things like that. I'm going to do a separate video about something else. So the horse I was riding, he is really, really tall. He's a thoroughbred, and he has a really long neck. And he hates his bit. I'm going to get on a bit video someday, just to get my opinion on it. He hated his bit, which most horses, or a lot of horses do, but some horses, whatever. And his reins, his neck was so long that his reins would... It'll be hard to hold on his reins. You only have this much of rein left when you're holding it and things like that, and everybody always wants you to shorten your reins, but that didn't help. So we were cantering along, and he threw his head down, and of course because horses have strong necks, that's one of the strongest part of their body, and he flipped me out of my stirrups, and so I was laying on it, literally laying on his back. And to make a long story short, it ended up, my body slid off, and I was holding on his neck, so I let go. And since it was cold, I'm sensitive to the cold weather, so my knees actually kind of did hurt when I landed on the sawdust or the sand or whatever you want to call it. Because it's actually quite hard. It's not really soft to fall in the indoor arena. So because it doesn't have as much padding as it does in the outdoor arena, so it kind of did hurt hitting the concrete, but it didn't hurt that bad. So I ended up getting back on and everything, and I never rode that horse a lot anyways. That was my first time riding him, and I only rode him 3 or 4 times after that. So the second time I was riding, I was having a private lesson with my instructor, only because none of my group members showed up. So we were doing jumping and things like that, and we were jumping, and my horse came around so fast in the corner, and she tripped, and she landed on her knees instead of on her hooves like she was supposed to. So yeah, and I was wondering if she was going to fall over or something because she didn't have balance, so I slipped off and landed in the ground. She ended up regaining balance after that, and she was shaking and things like that, looking at me oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. She's actually in my thumbnail for what is in my grooming box. She's on the very left, the darker horse with the marking on her face. Not the shorter one, because that's Annebelle. I'm going to tell you about her too. So yeah, just in case you were wondering. And so yeah, that definitely didn't hurt me at all. And those few times I fell off was actually quite fun because you don't expect it to happen. And when you do, it's oh boy, I'm going down. So the third time I fell off was this one horse. I rode him. I loved him. He was so great. And he was one of the new horses that I was testing out for for them to use in lessons, and he was just so sweet. He was badly abused, so when you put his saddle on, it will slip right off and things like that, because he had a terrible dip, and the side of his back is his back goes straight and it goes down and that, and in his rump he has instead of having a curve, he has it like this or whatever, so you can tell that whatever happened to him, he lost muscles there and things like that. So they never gave him a vacation break, and they used him 5 times a day an hour each, so it was like 5 hours, and he had enough. He started biting people, kicking people, throwing them off, bucking, things like that. So I was unfortunate to have that happen to me too. So we were cantering, and he just took off in a gallop and yanked the reins out of my hands, and I flew across the arena and things like that. For me, that was like really when I want to go like bitless with him. If I owned him, I would like to do like bitless riding and things like that, because I think that would be so much better for him and give him like a break of riding and just do some groundwork with him. That's what I would love to do with him, but I don't even know if he's alive right now, because a lot of the horses over there got colic and had to be put down. So yeah, I would like, I'm not gonna go over there and buy him as much as I want to, but you know, I really should probably. I really should look into that actually. So I'm just looking for a horse like, because after that I really injured my hip. It was like a pain level of 5, and it just sat there. I really couldn't walk and things like that. I got the wind knocked out of my right lung, so that was like completely deflated on one side, and I couldn't really breathe. So I went to the hospital. They said nothing was broken, but I really think that was a lie, because I'm not able to ride horses the same way I used to. So when I ride horses, my hip is just like, no, you're done, get off a horse. And I actually went to physical therapy, and the guy was telling me that I cannot ride horses that are like wide, so I have to ride ponies that are like thinner and things like that, which really affects my riding. Like a horse, because like ponies, they take short steps and they're a little more faster than a horse that has a big stride. Like one of my favorite horses that used to be there, I think he actually had colic too, because they said he was in remission for something, but he might have had cancer or something, but he probably died, so, you know. But after that, you know, I was not able to ride. So the 4th time that I fell off, I was riding the horse Annebelle, that is also in my What Is in My Grooming Box thumbnail. She is the little pony next to Delilah, Annebelle. She's 4 years old. She's really not trained properly because she's afraid of everything. We were finished doing a presentation for our family and like a little show, and they had alarm equipment, wires, poles, different things that she's never seen before. So we were playing this game, Canter Till You Drop, and she saw those, and I literally fell off when she just kept like running and things like that, and she was just like freaking out over it. So every time I went over there, she would freak out, so I had to like go past it and things like that. But she's scared of trot poles, she's scared of jumps. The only thing she's not scared of going over is a tree. So like a tree log, but on a trail ride, but I think it's just like something, she might have had a bad experience with something. So yeah, she doesn't have any confidence in herself whatsoever. So yeah, after that, right now, I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do horse-wise, because I'm planning on buying a horse, which I need help with like names, or I'm going to do a separate video on that. If you guys care enough for me to do that, I will do it. Just leave a comment down below. So the whole time that I did that, the 3rd time I was like, oh no, she's crying because she's scared. I'm like, I'm not scared to fall off a horse, to be honest. I was crying because I was like in so much pain, like having something broken or, you know, bruised, like a bruised bone is like serious. It's like really serious. Like I would get back on Alamo. That was the 3rd horse that I fell off. I would get back on him again and ride him. Like I'm not afraid to ride him. So it's like basically to regain confidence is that, I mean, if you're seriously hurt, you do not want to get back on because you might have broken something or something like that. You could be really seriously hurt, and you always want to go to the hospital to get checked out if you feel pain. But if you're fine and you fell off and you're not hurt, then you definitely want to get back on. So, but if you do get hurt, you want to go back and ride and just like ride any kind of horse, like ride any horse, like a horse that you basically trust or something, because you can't live with that fear of falling off all the time. Because when I first started riding the second year at this other place, it was a lady who owned horses who my grandfather knew, and we rode her other horse, and she just took off into like where she stays to sleep. It's not like a barn, but it's like a shed thing with a door on it, and she like took me in there. So I guess from that experience, I've learned not to be afraid of horses, not to be afraid of the things that they do. And also, since I've been watching somebody on YouTube about horses, he taught me so much that nobody would ever answer my questions, because I did get a stupid answer one time. I'll probably get into that later, but, you know. So regaining confidence, you really have to just put yourself back in the saddle. You might be scared, but just like believe in yourself, and you can't be so scared because the horse will sense that. And if you're scared, then, you know, you don't want something else to happen, like the horse to sense that or something. So, like, ride an older horse that's, like, easygoing and smooth. Like, that's why I like the horses that were previously ranch horses, because one of the ranch horses that I rode, he was calm and everything until we got to the games thing. He was just not having any of it. It's like, this is boring. And I agree with him. The games day we always used to have was so boring. It's like, I'm not a little child that likes to do games on horses, so... I mean, I wasn't like a little kid who liked to do things like that on horses. I'm there to ride. I'm not here to play games on horseback. So yeah, I really hope that helped you guys, probably on the confidence thing, since I was never scared of falling off or getting kicked, because I did get kicked once, and I'm telling you it hurt, but I could actually do a kicking story too, because it wasn't my fault. Like, this little boy scared the horse, and the horse was turned around and just started kicking the wall and things, and he ended up kicking me. But yeah, so as for regaining confidence, it's just like you always have to go back in the saddle. Like, even if you don't want to get back in the saddle first, at least spend time with the horses, like brush them or lead them around and get comfortable with them again. And when you get comfortable with them, then slowly get back into the saddle for like an older horse that knows how to take care of his rider. I would say like a horse that's like maybe 13 to like 20 something years old. Maybe not all 20-year-old horses, but where I rode, they had a horse. He was a Mexican. He was transported from Mexico, and they believed that he was like 41 or 43 years old, but he ended up getting colic, and he died. So yeah, usually, I guess you could say like for 13 and up, not like a older horse. I really don't like riding older horses, because at some point in a horse's life, since they can live up to like 25 to 30 years, I would say that if your horse is in good condition, if you have a horse or if the horse is in good condition, then, you know, retire him or something. But yeah, and if you previously jumped before and you fell off, I would say start back off at like, I guess, maybe start going over ground poles, and then take up the jump, and then as each time goes by, get higher with the jumps, and then you'll eventually get back to where you used to jump. And also, really quick, for like my horse thing, I'm gonna do a video of names, like what should I name my horse. I have a list of names ready to be chosen, and there's this one name that I feel like I'm really gonna choose because I love it. It's inspired by a movie, an Estonian movie that I watched. And, like, either should I go quarter horse or American paint. I'm probably going to go quarter horse, basically, or an American paint if I can find a black and white American paint, because they're gorgeous. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video that I make. I really hope this helped you guys. Anything else you need to know or left out, please let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So have a good day. Bye.